Hey, it's Brayden Barnett of your Regina Pats, and you're listening to Pats Cast with Chris and Kevin.
And here we go. We got a massive scrum inside the Moose Jaw zone to the far side of the ice. And why is Jackson Unger coming out to the slot area and waving home the Pats?
Well, Kelton Pine's also at his blue line.
Oh,
I wonder
Pine.
if things are going to boil over here. He thought maybe it was just a matter of
Here we
time.
go. Here we go.
And we're going to have a goalie fight.
A goalie fight at center ice. Kelton Pine and Jackson Unger at center ice. And they get at it at the logo. Holy smokes, you don't see this too often.
Welcome to Pats Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. It's episode 171. It's March 25th. It's the end of the season, Kevin. She's done.
The end is here.
Yeah.
It was not what we were hoping for. I know. It was kind of what we were expecting, but I don't know if we were expecting it to be this bad. Expectations were high, especially the first part of the season, but it's here. Went out with a whimper, except for a little bit of fireworks at the end.
Yeah. A whimper until the last 7 minutes of your season. All of a sudden, the
Bang, 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 fireworks.
the last hurrah came out here.
Yeah.
Just a little too late, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll definitely get to that, but yeah, I mean, 3 games this week. I kind of just glossed over them. I mean, not much to talk about. 3 losses in the end, but
Scoring 4 goals in those 3 games.
Yeah, right. Like you said, it's not unexpected that the team didn't make the playoffs, but just kind of the way it kind of ended here this last couple months, the U.S. road trip and stuff like that is just come crashing down, and being at this season-ending media availability there on Sunday, Al Millar made it kind of a point, like, the first maybe 20 games were a bit of a mirage.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, he said you played some teams that were missing guys, right? But I don't think the team was as bad as they were. But I mean, how can you argue with 12 wins in the last 40 plus games, right? Like,
It's not a good end.
No, it's unfortunate, but yeah. So I mean, PA, whatever. It was a Wednesday night, and I get home and whatever, we're chatting over text and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, the game's starting or whatever. And I kind of flipped it on, but it was kind of bedtime, and I seen it was 1-0, and then I come back, all of a sudden it's 5-0,
Yeah,
4-0. I was just like, what the heck happened here? Like, so I missed the first period, and I mean that ended up being the game. Like,
100%. It was
4-0. Yeah, I turned it on right at the end of the first, and then how fast did they score in the second? 5 minutes in the second, so it was 5-0, and then I watched the rest of the game, but it was not great.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but the effort was not there to travel all that way and not put an effort in. Like, some of them played, some of them you could clearly tell checked out. Some of them checked out a long time ago.
Yeah,
but,
I think so. Right.
Oh, it clearly, like, once the U.S. trip got going, you could see guys checking out. Like, I don't know if there was injuries. Clearly, there was a bunch of guys hurt, wounded. Every team's going through that, but some guys just absolutely checked out. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is when you're on a team that has as few wins as the Pats did.
Yeah, end up being last in the conference, third last in overall. It happens, right? Guys just aren't interested.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but
just want to get it over with, which it happens. See it with all teams probably go through that when they're in such a position, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, not much to talk about that game at all, right? Like, yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So then going into Friday, I think we'll just talk about the games, and we'll talk about the other stuff Friday night later. But Brandon, coming off an odd Thursday night game, they had Moose Jaw in there. Moose Jaw kind of got off to a hot start, 3-0, I think it was.
Yeah.
Possibly, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe Moose Jaw can run them down a bit, and then maybe they'll be a little worse for wear coming into Regina on the Friday night. But Brandon played a pretty decent game. We learned what happened Thursday night later from the Sunday thing, but the Pats didn't have much. It didn't seem that night either, right?
Yeah, it was just they're literally playing out the string. A lot of the guys seem like they're just playing it out. It's over. 25-minute pregame ceremonies and stuff.
Yeah,
takes whatever mojo they had away, if they had any. Sam scores twice, give the Pats a lead, and then it just...
Yeah, you give up the goal right after, right?
15 seconds after the second Pats goal, just like, oh, not again. Why? Yeah. Why does that happen?
Bad pinch by D-Man, and it was...
Bada boom, bada bing, it's tied.
And then they score right after on the power play. To take the lead, right? So...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. But yeah, Aramba, a really nice goal, his first one. Coming down the rush, just fires it, snipes it top corner.
Yeah.
And then a nice little play on the power play goal. Howe with a nice pass. They tried that earlier on a power play, and I don't know if Aramba just wasn't able to get a stick down on the ice, or the pass missed his stick, or whatever happened.
Or was a little too hard or whatever.
Yeah, and I said to you, I'm like, if his stick's on the ice there, that's a goal. And then it happened later in the game.
The exact same play on the opposite end of the ice.
Yeah. So, yeah, nice, 22 goals from him. That's nice to see, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, yeah. Hue, I thought he played pretty well. That was Hue that night, right? Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hue. Yeah. I thought he played pretty well. One of his better games this season again. Again, just kind of inconsistent. So this was one of his better ones, though.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing really bad about it.
No. What else you got from this one?
I'm giving a little bit of props to Brandon. I can't believe I'm saying that because of what happened with the earlier stuff of the season. That after they won the game, they, instead of doing a big, huge celebration on the ice, I saw their captain, was it Highland? Yeah,
Highland, yeah.
He stood over by the bench. He pointed at the guys, and he pointed to get off the ice, which was kind of neat. Like, I don't know if it was just like a respect thing kind of thing. It's like, hey, he's 20. He knows what's going on. He knows what teams are like or players are like when the season's over. This is our last home game, so give them a little respect. And
yeah,
they didn't do anything over crazy celebrating. Goalie and defenseman hugged a couple times or whatever, but they all got off the ice and let the Pats do their thing.
Yeah, let them have their moment after the last home game for sure.
Yeah. Props to them.
No, that was good to see. So, there's still some respect in this league. Some teams still have it.
Yes, there
Others
is.
may not have it. But no, that was good to see.
There is.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And then, I guess we go into the Saturday night game.
The Saturday schmozzle.
Yeah. I wasn't at this, or I didn't. Neither of us were at this game. I didn't watch this game. I went out to Lumsden to watch a little more competitive game. But I mean, it was just you just kept messaging me, goal, and I was just like, what's going on here?
Yep.
He's like, another power play goal. PP1's still out there. I just kept sending you slapshot gifs, like putting the foil on, like let's do something.
Yeah, it was not pleasant to watch.
Like you look 1, 2, 3,
the Warriors. The Warriors put the pedal to the metal, and they kept it there until like late in the middle way of the third period. Like they had their top guys out there, first and second power. Like the power play. I don't know. There was one power play. They were out there for like 2.5 minutes because they had like 2 or 3 5-on-3s. It was not fun watching. Well, for the Warrior fans, I guarantee it was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not pleasant to watch as a Pats fan. It was very the Pats color glasses are coming on a little bit right now. I think it was very classless. Had this happened 15 years ago, there would have probably been blood. Like, I'm not even joking. There would have been blood somewhere. Like, either way, if the Pats would have done it to them or vice versa, there would have been heck to pay. There would have been people. There would have been ejections. There would have been people fighting in the back. It would have been nuts.
Yeah.
Because you don't do, like, I'm old school. You don't do that. You're 50 points ahead in the standings. You're pounding this team into the ice. You don't keep on playing your top end guys. Like, the team is up 7 goals, 6, 7, 8 goals, and they're playing their top guys and playing their top guys. They're third liners, they're fourth liner guys. This is the game they should have been out there. Maybe they would have scored 11 goals themselves. Like, who knows, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
But they just kept on cranking these guys out and cranking these guys out. It's just like, oh my God.
So then that's a good point there. Talking to Alan Millar on Sunday, he said, well, why did those guys sit on Thursday against a playoff team and then run them out Saturday against a weaker team just so they could run up the scores? It was just point night, right? Like,
yep. Why
did they sit on Thursday against Brandon?
100%.
You don't, that team's still jockeying for playoff positions, such. Usually you try to put out your best effort there, kind of usually, unless it's like the last game of the year and you want to sit your guys. But you don't sit your guys in that game and then run them out on Saturday night. That's totally disrespectful.
Against a team that's like, what was it, 50 points behind you in the standings? They've literally checked out. Like, all they have to do is just look back a few games, like literally checked out, playing out the string. Season's over. They just want to go away. They want to get out of the hockey realm for a little while or whatever. And they just kept on running it. And, like, I'm not saying the Pats didn't deserve the 9 penalties. Like, I'm not saying that, the 9 power plays, but for the power plays to be 9-0.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, teams accidentally get penalties sometimes, right? It just seemed so bizarre. Every time there was a penalty, it was against the Pats. Like, it's hard to watch in WHL live. Like, watching it live, you see more stuff, right? Of course. But to not get a penalty until the skirmishes near the end of the game, it's just absolutely bizarre. It's like, you look at the penalties, it's Pats.
The only
Literally
Pats. Penalties are offsetting, so the Pats never did receive an actual power play opportunity.
Nope.
Right? So
9-0 in the game. I honestly don't think I've ever seen a 9-0 power play game in Pats history anyways. I've seen like 5-0, 4 or whatever, but nothing like this, like such a big gap with a 0 power play to that many power plays.
Yeah, that's wild, right?
Like I said, I'm literally not saying that they didn't deserve the 9 penalties, but Moose Jaw's no angels. No team is an angel. Like, there should probably be a game where there's never 0 penalties, right? Because there's hooking sometimes, accidental taps on the hands and stuff, but it just seemed like the officials wanted to get it a hand or something. I don't know. Like, it just felt like that.
Yeah, it's totally unfortunate. It's just a bad look overall. Like,
and how the fun part of the game, which everybody knows right now, is the goalie fight.
Yeah.
How the officiating crew let that happen. Blows my mind. Not that I didn't enjoy the fight. Like, hey, I know it's teenagers fighting, but they're 18 and 19. They willingly fought.
Yeah, and I mean, at all levels, even the NHL, the refs really make a point of stopping that from happening.
Exactly. But if you watch the video that I posted on X at theblueliner.com that has almost 100,000 views right now, plug, or at the Blue Liner, sorry, not the .com is my webpage. Free plug. But if you watch the clip, like when Howe and Lakovic and Kovacevic or whatever his name is, they're in their little pile. The linesman and woman, they're trying to break them up, and both referees are standing over top watching.
Not paying attention.
Goalies kind of just do out to the blue lines, and then they finally get their gloves off and they fight.
Yeah.
Mind blowing that happened without even a line brawl. Like, if there was a line brawl, where there's actually fights where there's the linesmen or the lines people were trying to break fights up and a referee's trying to keep order, holding on to players or whatever.
And they can't get to the goalies. Yeah.
But they're just standing there watching this happen, and then they turn and it's like, oh, the goalies are going to fight.
Yeah,
let's just let them fight. It's like, da.
Yeah, and like you said, there's no fights. It was just kind of whatever, just a group of 10 players, right?
Howe had enough of Lakovic, and he kind of went after him. And then a little bit of a skirmish, nothing major.
But there was no actual fights there, right? It was just skirmishes, just guys were just piled there doing the old grabbing.
Looked like there were a couple of punches maybe thrown or whatever, but no actual fights. And then the goalies just kind of saunter out. Mm-hmm. It's like dun 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 dun, and then they go fight.
Yeah, but Pyne brought that up on Sunday as well. Like they'd had enough of Lakovic, right? It stemmed from a couple weeks ago. He mentions here the selfie stick celebration, right? So they were not happy with that, and then and then the actions by the team in this whole game, right? And
enough was enough.
Enough was enough.
Just kind of got going, and then Brad decided to get involved and start yelling at the at the Moose Jaw coach, and that looked pretty interesting. It looked like he wanted to get something going, but nothing happened. But
no, and the Moose Jaw coach wouldn't even give him, eye contact. Like he knew he was in the wrong,
or just didn't care.
Yeah.
Just didn't even want to acknowledge him. It was just sign of disrespect all the way around. I think, in my opinion, like, hey, I'm old school. To me, it felt disrespectful. Hey, I know Fergus was trying to win the scoring title. He scored his 60th goal on the little Michigan goal or whatever. But just continue to run those guys out there. Like, come on. Pyne and Unger fight. They put Hue in. Rice-Savvy goes out there and does a wraparound. Hue barely even tried. He falls down or whatever. I don't know what happened. Nobody wanted to be playing in that game, I don't think, at that point in time. They were just like, we want to go home.
Yeah.
But, oh, man. Yeah. I think it sparked a rivalry again because
it's been pretty tame.
It's been really tame. But this, like, Evan McFeeters on the post-game show talked about it. He's like, down the road, when we're better, we hope we play Moose Jaw in the last game of the season and we beat them 11-1 and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah. And Brad was not happy, and I think Al took it personally.
Well, he 100% did because
100% took it personally. Not
he says it
bit.
Because he knows those guys personally. He hired some of those guys, and
yeah, exactly. Those are his people.
And I don't want to say this is what he said, but I think this is like, I think he's like thinking like, I thought I taught these guys better, right? Like that's not how I would if that was my team, that would have been a no kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Right? But then again, we don't know if the Pats were like that. If they were the ones in the other shoe, would they have done it? I don't know. I would not have been happy because I get sick of watching the World Juniors when the Team Canada, Team USA, Team Sweden, when Russia's in there, when they play against like Latvia and like these,
it's
like
10,
Japan and Norway,
12.
it's like 10, 12, 14. Watching those games, and sometimes like you see certain teams, I can't remember, but you see these teams run the score up, they get 9, 10, 12, 14 goals, and they're celebrating after the goals, and like they keep on playing and playing the same guys. It's like, man, that's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help for everything.
And it doesn't help that the tiebreaker in that is goals for and against, right?
Yeah, that's true too. But
if they made it goals against only the first tiebreaker or whatever, it would maybe change something, right? But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, and going back to that, like some of those teams, like we ran the score because the other teams just happen to be there. I don't think anybody likes to get beat 14, 16, 19-1 or 12-0, 12-1, 11-1. I don't think anybody likes that.
No.
Oh, it's an honor to be here. Of course they're going to say that. But come on. Like, you run the score up like that, it's, oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good. But the rivalry seems to be back.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope. Maybe next year we'll see some more fireworks.
Because we've seen some pretty tame Regina Moose Jaw games this year.
Boring. Tame, boring.
Yeah.
No hits, no anything.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of games like that. It's like it's almost like the teams have forgot how to hit, how to play aggressive. Just it's been a weird couple years.
Yeah.
I just felt that our team was being disrespected. I did not like the way that they handled the way that they handled their power play units, the way that they're giving out their ice time to their players, and I just thought it was very disrespectful to Regina Pats, and I thought it was very disrespectful to the game of hockey.
Have you been thrown out of the game before?
I played a lot of hockey, so yeah.
As a coach,
I think that's my first time.
Okay. Did you get your point across?
I don't know if you ever get your point across, and I don't know if you ever win a fight, like they say, but for me, this is the way I can stand up for our hockey club and the way I can stand up for our team. And I don't mind losing. I've been in tons of fights in my life, and I've lost lots. But I think there's a way to win and lose. And last night, I just did not feel that it was the right way for them to win.
Did you feel disrespected the way Brad and the team did?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's probably even a little bit more personal. With my history with the club there, and I believe there's a lot of people in that organization that have their opportunities because when I was the manager there. So I think in this situation, certain players, and Brad in particular, you got to stand up for your team. I really don't understand the thought process by the coach in Moose Jaw, even going back to Thursday night, sitting out players against a potential playoff opponent and laying down, and then ramping it up against one of the, let's be honest, weaker teams in the league that was very shorthanded, and, why they felt they needed to embarrass our team, why he felt that he needed to employ and manage his bench that way. It's very disappointing for me. I didn't see all the game. I was at a Bantam game in Humboldt, but obviously, talked to the coaches after the game and watched the game. So I don't get it. But at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want. Millar's just whining, they kicked our ass. That's fine. They're moving on. They have the opportunity to go to the playoffs. I think it's another message for us in terms of how much work we have to do here to get better. But, I hope Mark O'Leary's behind the bench in Moose Jaw when we're going to be a good team, because we are going to be a good team, and I have a long memory.
It's something that's going to be quite a rivalry. It already is. Does this add fuel to the fire?
100%. How can it not? If you're in the game for the right reasons, if you have passion for the game, if you're competitive, how can you not be on our side and not be pissed off? It was embarrassing. It was disrespectful, and I think at the end of the day, as much as we took it on the chin, and let's face it, you lose 11-1, it's embarrassing for your club. But I think in an ironic way, they embarrassed themselves as well.
Well, okay, we've been starting all the interviews with what happened last night. Did you guys feel disrespected? And was that how you guys reacted, or could you just explain what went on?
Yeah, for the most part, I was just sticking up for my teammates and the Regina Pats, and I thought what we did was necessary, and yeah, just mostly sticking up for my teammates.
They just kept their best guys out all the time?
Yeah, maybe just trying to run up the score or something like that, but yeah.
When's the last time you've been in a situation like that?
I don't know if I have, so yeah.
Would it be fun playing Moose Jaw next year too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah.
Do you feel necessary as the captain to take that first step, I guess, to address that situation?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was my time to kind of do something and kind of show something. Yeah, just what happened, I guess. So.
Do you like the response from the team? Everybody, you Brad, having your back.
Yeah, definitely. Us. It wasn't just one guy doing something. It was our whole team, and I think that game showed a lot about us. And I thought it was good. So.
What happened last night?
It's a tough game last night. Obviously, the score wasn't what we wanted it to be, but yeah. And then a little bit of a tilt there at the end.
Have you ever been in a goalie fight before?
No, I have not. That was my first.
How'd you do?
I didn't think I did too bad. I don't think I won the fight, but I don't think I did too bad at all.
How did it start? Were you guys yelling down the ice at each other?
No, so there was just like a scrum. I think there was kind of a scrum with Howie there in the far corner. So I saw that and just kind of booked it to the blue line and waited for him.
Looking forward to playing Moose next?
Yeah, for sure.
Why did you feel you had to step in there?
I think it's just kind of some emotions up from the game. I'm just sticking up for myself and the team.
Did you like how step in and starting, taking it upon himself to answer back to what they were doing last night?
Yeah, I think it was about time that even from the games prior, from the selfie stick celebration there from Lakovic. So, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on from that. It's kind of our first
rant off.
Yeah,
rant off
it's our first one of the night. Might have a couple more.
Partial rant.
Yeah. Where do you want to go from here? You want to go into team awards?
Sure. Let's talk about the team awards.
Okay, so you got them up there.
You gotta get the list. There it is.
You kind of rattled them off.
Okay, 3-star awards. First star, Tanner Howe. Second star, Ty Spencer. Third star, Ewan Hue. Congratulations to those guys.
Not unexpected there.
Not unexpected. Tanner was the best player on the Pats. Spencer had a really good year. Hue saved the Pats bacon on a few times, even though they did only win 22 games. But
he when he was on, right? It seemed.
Yep.
He had some stellar performances, like 40, 50 save performances, right?
Okay, Scholastic Player of the Year, Colton Bridgman. If I'm not mistaken, I think they said his average was like 93.4 or something like that. Congratulations, smart kids. It sounds like we got a few smart ones in the crew, so
no, that's good.
That's nice to know. Let's see which word we want to go next. Let's go with top scorer. Surprise, surprise, Tanner Howe. Goals, assist, points leader.
Yeah.
Unsung hero, Rick Rippon Award. Zane Rowan and Braxton Whitehead share the award. This one didn't really surprise me, but it did a little bit. Like, I don't know what the real definition of an unsung hero is anymore, because Logan Nyhoff was the captain and won it a couple years ago, or 3 years ago, whatever, a couple years ago. So,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of maybe in parallel a little bit to our underrated one.
Yeah.
Right? Ish. So
like I'm not saying Braxton's underrated, but Braxton's like the second best player on the Pats. If Al wasn't here, he was the best.
I just don't think he gets the love, maybe, right? I mean, he missed a whole bunch of time too, and people maybe just forgot about him. Like Oremba and Spencer kind of had the breakout halfway through the season, so there's a lot of talk about those guys. And Whitehead was kind of just a steady pace. Like he had a good start. He was a point a game guy before he got hurt, and I think he was a point a game guy basically after he come back.
He ended up a point a game, 52 and 52. So
right on the mark, and 52 is all around for him, right? So so I think it's just maybe just didn't get as much love because Spencer was scoring those big goals, right? Like maybe Whitehead was just assisting on them, right? So all these awards really, to me, haven't really meant a ton since Matthew Keeper won Sportsmanlike Player of the Year a couple years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it was, which still to this day kind of blows my mind. Yeah.
But I guess he was sportsmanlike, but he only played 30 games and he missed a bunch of time. But whatever.
And he's a goalie.
Exactly. Let's see. Most popular player, Bill Hickey Award, Tanner Howe.
Yeah.
Not really a surprise.
No.
Kind of a surprise. I don't know. Like, I thought maybe the Vaughns might
Might
get
have gotten
votes.
some love,
Maybe
yeah.
they did.
Maybe
but
they split votes, right?
exactly.
Vote
I was just
split.
going to say maybe because you can only vote for one, right? You can only
Yeah.
vote. So that doesn't surprise me though, because he's the best
captain.
player, popular.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What do we want to go next? Sportsmanlike player Ty Gibson. Even though he was only here half a season, when they announced the award, he had 2 penalty minutes with the Pats, and he ended up with 2 that game too. So he ended up with 4 penalty minutes in whatever 25, 26, 27 games with the Pats. So
And he only had 6 coming in to Regina. So
yeah, so
yeah,
that one doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me.
No.
Because you could give it to Spencer, you could give it to Aremba. Those guys had
Yeah.
less than 20 penalty minutes. Mushimansky only had 10, but
he doesn't play.
doesn't play as much.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Let's see. Rookie of the year. This one kind of surprised people, I think. Colton Bridgman got the Rookie of the Year. It didn't really surprise us as much as it did some other people, but because our award, he was second place in our voting. He was only like 3 points out of first.
Yeah.
If we would have got a couple more ballots, maybe he would have won too.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, because it was, and then Huey was number 3 on ours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah,
he
it
was
was
a
those 3
little
guys.
further back, but I think it was clearly those 3 guys. And I
Oh,
think
yeah, for sure.
just him playing maybe big minutes, right? Like, and you can't hide as a D-man. You can hide as
No,
a forward,
definitely not.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, not too surprised, but yeah, it was a toss-up between
It was
those 3 guys.
it was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people expected it to be Huey because he was the more, I don't know, more prominent player, I guess. Temple really didn't have the greatest of season. I don't think he lived up to what what people were expecting of him. Maybe it was a little bit too much pressure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Team wasn't very good, like we know.
You can see the flashes of talent, though. That's the thing,
he's,
right?
he's super skilled.
That's probably why he won our award.
Yeah.
Just kind of based on that. Yeah, he might not have had the best season of those 3 guys, but it is what it is. That's what our polling came up with, right?
Our 17 people voted, so
Yeah.
it was okay. The Community Service Award, the Vaughn twins. What did the school lady teacher, whatever her name is, I can't remember her name is. She called them the lookalikes.
Yeah.
That was they called him. Like it was the Dwight. His name Dwight, the principal.
Yeah, Dwight's the other guy. Yeah,
He's like, yeah, it's 99 or 98 in the lookalikes.
it's the boy band.
The boy band. That was funny.
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah. They clearly they do pretty much everything together. So it's not kind of too surprising that they kind of shared that award, I guess. So they've obviously been out and about in the community doing stuff. So that's good to see, right? A little bit younger
for
guys,
sure.
right? Because they're still in school, right? So
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have? Top defenseman, the Charles Johnston Award went to Corbin Vaughn, which kind of surprised a lot of people, I think, too.
yeah, again, another guy that missed a bunch of time, but I think
Yeah, a whole bunch of time. He missed half the season.
and again, like we talked about it, he's clearly the best defenseman back there. So
Yeah.
not too surprised for us, anyways.
Not surprised for us, but it was like, I guess it really wasn't a surprise because, like, who really do you pick? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, right.
Because it wasn't the greatest year. They allowed a lot of goals,
Yeah,
as everybody knows. But yeah, congratulations to Corbin. And what other one? We have the Player of the Year. Surprise, surprise, Tanner Howe.
yeah,
Da, da, da. I think that's every award.
yeah. And we kind of talked about it before. I think just between ourselves that if Berg was still here or whatever, he could have really pushed for that spot. Like
Yeah, for sure.
he had such a good, obviously, first half of the season for the Pats, and he might have challenged that.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it was a nice awards ceremony thing before the game. It was kind of neat. And here, Tanner Howe. It would have been nice if we could actually have heard him better. I couldn't quite hear what he said, but from what we could hear, it sounded like he was
Yeah, he's not
thankful for the fans and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. He's not the best speaker yet. He's still working on that, right? But
And he's quiet.
yeah, he is. He is a little more quiet. But I think
I don't know if it's shy or whatever, but
maybe a little bit. Even on Sunday, his answers were a little short, kind of thing.
Well, what do you expect after getting shellacked the night before, getting embarrassed?
But even the season kind of thing. He's still working on it. But I mean, last week when we had him on the show, I thought it went well, right? A little more personal. He sat down and got a little more comfortable, I think, there.
Yeah, well, especially talking to me it was the first time he ever talked to me. So
yeah. So
it was he was good.
But no, yeah, he's coming along, right? So
yeah, for
getting
sure.
thrust into that role as a younger player, right, as the captain.
Yeah, especially when he just like turned 18
in
what
November,
so
late
like halfway
November. Yeah.
like halfway through the season almost.
Yeah.
So it's a young guy to be the captain.
Definitely.
You have big shoes to fill, right?
Yeah,
so.
that too, right? Nobody can fill those shoes, but
no.
There's a lot of good captains that have come through this franchise, right?
Oh, for sure.
All right, I guess moving on to the other Friday night thing, the 1974 Memorial Cup 50th anniversary. First off, I think it's just nice to see those guys. It's awesome, celebrate that. It's unfortunate.
50 years is huge.
Yeah, that's the big number, right? Like that's the number. Wedding anniversaries, et cetera, et cetera. 50 is a long time, and I mean, obviously there was a big kind of celebration at the 40th, and then now here at the 50th. It was just kind of unfortunate. It just got crammed into this game.
Yeah, sorry, Hershey. I'm not going to really rant about this. I really wanted to, but they did what they could with the time they were given.
Yeah, and I mean, it should have been its own game. It should have been a highlight pack. Should have been a.
They should have had like an alumni thing. Like it had a whole bunch of different guys, all different ages, all different groups, and just had
or that too,
videos, had everything, like videos thanking them, and had like their own little presentations for each player, even ones that are not here or gone or whatever.
Yeah.
But like Hershey, I really wanted to rant about it, but Lane and the crew and Dante did a really bang up job for what they were allowed to do.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate that, like I said, that they didn't get their own game. They didn't get more love because the next anniversary is 55. That's not really a big anniversary.
No.
But then you go to the 60th anniversary, those guys are going to be close to 80. And like how many of those guys are going to want to come here?
Yeah.
If they're still around, like who knows? Like lots can change in 10 years.
Yeah.
And like
50 is the big number, right? That's
for go ahead.
There's enough guys that's already gone, right? Like
two players, the coach, the GM, one of the equipment guy, the trainer, assistant creative trainer. But for a team, an ownership that is all about tradition, history, blah blah blah. Like they keep on playing that video that they had when they first bought the team before they even changed the jerseys, where they're chasing after the Memorial Cup.
Yeah,
it's been 50 years, and they didn't give the 50-year guys enough credit. I don't think they're all about tradition. They're all about the history, but it's almost like the ownership. Like I'm gonna get in trouble probably for saying this, but it's almost like the ownership doesn't give a care about that because it's been such a long time since they've won anything. Like they literally haven't made it to the Memorial Cup without buying their way in or hosting, basically, right?
Yeah.
Since 1980.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Like, holy crow. That's only 6 years after the Memorial Cup win.
Yeah. It's 44 years ago.
It blows my mind that they didn't get their own game, that they didn't get more recognition. Even like maybe not even their own game, like different things during the season. Like I know they tried, but they were shot down. So like I said, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. But I'm disappointed that they didn't get their own game, but I was happy for what they were able to do.
Yep.
On the night, but it sucks that everything was just so crammed. It just
it couldn't have been a worse game to have that at, right? Because the awards take up so much time. If it was another night, any other night, any other game, like
it could have even been like a Wednesday night. Like the crowds have not been good until like up and down. A couple games they had good, but the last two games were the big crowds. Last one because the 50-50 was like $100,000 by the time it was done. But they could have picked a Wednesday night, a Tuesday, one of the Tuesday night games. I think they had 2 Tuesday night games this year or whatever. Like they could have had any other game. I'm sure the guys would have came in.
Yeah, I think
maybe Sobchak could have made a pardon?
Yeah. I think it still should have been a weekend game, a Saturday night or whatever.
I'm just saying, like they could have made it. like had a whole like a weekend, but maybe even have a Wednesday game and then have like a thing Thursday, Friday or whatever, and have them on the concourse for another game, like as part of something else. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I did kind of rant a little bit. I might get in trouble, but but like I said, for what they were able to do, I appreciate what they did, but they should have had more, because these guys are the reason a lot of these other guys play for the Pats or wanted to play for the Pats.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it just blows my mind that they like, it's almost like they were secondary. Like it's almost like they didn't care.
And the thing is, there's so many Regina guys on that team, right? Because
Exactly.
that's back in the day where it was more local guys. There was no draft, right? You're not picking guys out of BC and the States and here and there to come play. It's these guys grew up together. They played on teams together as they came up, and then they played on the Pats on the same line for 3 years, right? Like they played
or
together.
if they didn't play on the same team coming in, they played football against each other. They played sports against each other. They knew each other. They might have been opponents, but once they basically 3/4 of them joined the Pats in 71, 72, they were like a rookie team.
Yep.
And then they finally made it.
74 was the culmination, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, no, it's too bad they didn't get more recognition.
So I guess I did rant a little bit there. There you go, Hershey. I wanted to go more, but yeah. I don't know what else to say. It was nice though. The SAS Sports Hall of Fame hosted a little roundtable hot stove with it was supposed to be Ed Stanowski, Mike Wanchuk, and Kim McDougall, but McDougall showed up late, so it ended up being Rob Laird. They had a little discussion, and do you know what really, like, I loved it, but there was like 30 people there.
Yeah.
That was it. I
don't think there was enough advertisement of it, because honestly, I didn't know. If you wouldn't have said anything, I wouldn't have realized it.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate that there was only like 30 people there, and half those guys were the Pats.
Yeah.
It was and Tristan Oremba.
Of course. Tristan's everywhere. Everybody knows Tristan. He's at every.
If you're listening, Tristan, hey Tristan. But yeah, it was nice to get to meet them again, because I met all of those guys back in 2014, and they had the celebration, and that back at the time it was at the press box. It doesn't exist anymore. But they had the celebration, and they had it was like the players and their wives or whatever, like little bits of family. And there was literally like 20 fans that time too. It was like myself, my friend Corey, my mom. There was a guy named Dale. He helped do some stats for the Pats way back in the day. He was there, and there was just a handful of other people. So
yeah,
these guys don't get enough recognition. I appreciate them. They're a big part of my historical want to know more about the Pats, and I do appreciate them.
Yeah.
I think my rant is over.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right.
So there you go, Hershey. I did rant a little bit, so there you go.
All right. Yeah. Where else we go from here? What else you got?
I find it weird. This isn't a rant. This is just a weird thing. The Western Hockey League. You know, everybody knows how bad the webpage is and stuff. There's still broken links, broken stuff everywhere.
That's on the CHL, really.
That's on the CHL, but it's league wide.
Yeah.
And they haven't fixed it. They've had the whole year to fix it. They got it changed in July or whatever, and they've had like the whole season to fix it. They fixed some stuff. Lots of it they haven't. But it's weird. I went looking earlier in the season trying to find the WHL rulebook. Not there. I went looking halfway through the season at WHL rulebook. Not there. Season ended on Sunday. Guess what?
No rulebook.
Guess what, Chris? No rulebook. So how do we even know what rules they're playing by? Do they have rules? Because we clearly know they took the offside challenge out. They changed the face-off stuff.
Yeah.
Like because last year they were putting their finger up or whatever, like you're giving warnings or whatever. Now they're just waving. Like that one game clearly against the Broncos where it was like 86 face-offs or whatever it was.
Except on icings, they don't wave them out on icings though.
Oh, well, whatever.
They
like
do the finger. They do the finger on icings.
But like, it's.
I know, right? Where is this in
like
writing?
this stuff
Nowhere.
And I guess I'm going to rant a little bit. Where is the consistency in the score keeping on the Western Hockey League website? There is so many errors. There are times where a week later, all of a sudden, someone's lost 2 points and someone else has 2 points, and it just like, do they not have anybody that can like proofread? I know teams put in things to change points, blah blah blah. That's, I understand, but there are mistakes throughout the summaries for the Pats this year. Yeah. And last year, was it last year, 2 years ago? There's a player that didn't play for the Pats, took a warm-up, and he's still on the roster or still as playing that game.
Yeah.
So, Dante, get that fixed. Keep on telling you, get it fixed. He tells me he's emailed the guy. But WHL, please get better. Like, fix it. Like, I know they got a new commissioner. Hopefully they fix everything and get everything together and not worry just about so much on social media. Get the stuff fixed, because if you're not correct with the history, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Trying to go
sure.
back and trying to figure out if it's right or not.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. It is what it is. I guess that's another little bit of a mini rant. Kevin's ranty today. Sorry.
It's all right. Season's over. We got stuff to talk about, right? Like, it's been good.
I don't want to cut into the show too much, but
Well,
rant. Kevin's rants.
Chris
can help rant on this one.
Yeah, it's the last one, I guess. We didn't think this was going to be too long, but it is going to be a longer show. We've got the great interview.
I'm not going to
again.
apologize. I'm not going to apologize
fine.
for having a long show.
No. We got a great interview coming up. Brayden Barnett as well, too. So if you're still listening to this, great. Or if you skipped ahead to Barnett, then, well, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, the last kind of rant is media again. Like, we've talked about media over the last couple of years, 2-3 years even. Just the lack of media, and like, I don't think there was literally any media the second half of the season other than us.
Yeah. Once CKRM did their changes, Blaine was
yeah.
there. He actually showed up quite a bit.
He was a regular. Yeah,
he was there quite often. But man, the lack of media coverage this Pats team gets is
sad,
baffling. Like, I know the landscape's changed and stuff. I know CTV and Global and those guys don't have as much time to cover the stuff, but just the lack of coverage this team gets is baffling. The team is over 100 years old, and it should get a little bit. Like, I know it drives clicks. But like, come on. You need to cover this team. Maybe people will pay attention.
You still got to cover the team no matter how good they are or not. That's kind of your duty as the media, right? Like, it's not like there's other stuff to cover right now. What are you covering? You're not covering local sports like Rob Vanstone was, right? Like,
yeah.
Just I don't even know what's on the 6 o'clock news for sports these days. I don't know. I don't watch it, but
I have no idea. All I know is it's sad.
It can't be much, because
like,
if you're not
like a Rough Rider player sneezes the wrong way, and there's news.
I know, right? In November, in December, in January.
Exactly.
When there's live sports going on every weekend.
Exactly. It's sickening. Like, especially I wasn't going downstairs for the media, the post-game media. You'd come up and you'd say, "Oh, just me again. Oh, just me again. Oh, just me again."
Yeah.
It's just, oh my goodness. Like, come on. Like I know they get paid to be reporters or whatever, but it's a 3-hour, 2.5 hour game, and you get a free seat, free Wi-Fi, free popcorn, that kind of stuff. You get to sit there and watch the game from some of the best seats in the house. And earlier in the season, when they did show up, they complained about it. They complained they had to be there. It's like, oh, I don't want to have to get up so early because it's too late, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, oh, man.
I know. But it's, I mean, I don't know. You get in, if you're covering sports in any city, when does sports happen? Do they happen Monday to Friday, 8 to 5? No.
Exactly.
It's an evenings and weekends thing. So if you don't want to work evenings, weekends, don't get into sports reporting. Like,
exactly.
Like, I don't know.
It seems like it's the Rough Riders are bust. The Pats need some love, you guys. Like, get real.
Yeah. No, the the Riders get the front page of the sports if they're 0-15 or 15-0, so it doesn't matter, right?
Oh, I get it that they drive the clicks, but at least give the Pats a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's mind blowing.
Yeah. No, for
like
sure.
Even for the last media session of the season, there was it was you and 3 other people.
Yeah.
That were asking questions. Like, really? Get it together, you guys. Like, come on. Like, I know the team won 22 games this year, but give them some coverage, give them some love. Maybe people might want to know more about them.
Yeah, that's
That
kind of why.
stuff. It's like,
that's why we've kind of taken upon ourselves here to sit down with these players and try to get to know them more, because nobody's doing, there's no more Rob Van Stone doing these articles like they sit down, get to know these players type stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever.
It's
we'll
almost
do
like
it.
it's almost
fine.
like the Pats have become a burden with these guys. Like,
Yeah.
we know that media has been emailed to come out to things and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
totally get that. People are busy. They got other stuff going on, but
we don't expect you every single game. Like, that's
4 games at home.
Mhm.
And for some media that didn't even show up to 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like, it's even like we were talking earlier off camera or whatever. Like, even last year, the first part of the season, there was a few. And then all of a sudden, Connor Bedard started heating up, and then people started showing up. And then the playoffs, boom, everybody came.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're trying to find seats. It's like, is it going to be like this next year again? Because CKRM still doesn't have anybody to cover sports, it seems. They have their people on Sports Cage.
They just got random people coming in and out for Sports Cage right now, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even have a Sports Cage
full-time host. And like the
Yeah.
Rough Riders still haven't announced if they've got a play-by-play person yet or not. So like, what's going on there?
Who knows?
But that's another story. That's not for our podcast, but it's just
care less what they do.
no, but it's it's wild. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. But hey, like, so going back to our awards, we put these awards out and the players are getting wind of this stuff and they're like legitimately interested in this stuff. So
yeah, so
we've got some feedback from the awards and so it's kind of cool that, you put it out there, people are interested, right? Even the players are interested in what we're doing. So
for sure.
So yeah.
That's why I'm trying to bring back my Blue Liner blog, and I'm going to be adding more stuff to that and doing some more writing, and hopefully bring a little bit like, hey, I'm not the Leader Post. I'm not these websites that are big.
No.
But hey, I'm going to put stuff out there. I'm going to be doing
Something's
more historical
better than
stuff.
nothing.
And over the summer, like, we're not going to be doing weekly episodes. We're still going to do we're going to do a wind up. We have another special players interview that we're going to post separately up here soon. And maybe this summer we have a couple other ideas going on. So
definitely
maybe we'll have some stuff going on, and hope you guys continue listening.
Yeah.
And maybe once I get my blog going more full circle, full tilt, and maybe people read and get some feedback on everything. And yeah,
definitely. All right, with that, we should listen to this interview with Brayden Barnett here.
Pleased to welcome Brayden Barnett. Have a little sit down and a little introduction for him to you guys. And yeah, welcome, Brayden.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, born and raised in Saskatoon, Martinsville area?
First 3 years lived in Saskatoon, ended up moving to Martinsville. That's where I started playing my minor hockey, I guess you could say, and that's where I played up until my first year. I moved here for midget, played with the Regina Pat Canadians, and then obviously, these last 2 years with the Regina Pats.
Yeah. Other siblings, you're into sports as well?
Oh, yeah, my brother, he's actually in the playoffs right now. They won their second game of the, U18 AA Hockey League here in Saskatchewan. He plays for Martinsville as well. And I got a sister. She was more of a soccer player, though, not much of a hockey player.
Yeah.
So was hockey the thing you focused on when you were younger? Did you play any other sports? Was it like hockey focused or?
I've tried a few different sports. I played football for about 1 year, 2 years maybe. I was pretty big into baseball. I actually won a Western and provincial championship with the Sask 5 Giants. And but hockey, it's been I guess you could say my main focus.
Was there any thought
baseball over hockey, or when did that decision come along that you had to make?
The time I had to make that decision was after I got drafted to the Pats. That first rookie camp, we just finished our provincials, and that was kind of the time like I had to choose baseball or hockey, and I chose hockey, obviously. And I'm just happy I made that choice.
Yeah, you're happy. Was it a tough choice?
Definitely. There was a few tears that day, obviously, just, letting go of a sport that you kind of grew up playing. It's hard to do. It's tough, but you got to do it.
Maybe we can delve back into some senior baseball or hockey in the future, right?
Yeah, I play slow pitch in the summertime, just to get that baseball itch. But, yeah, that's other than that.
So going back a few years, when did you start playing hockey? When was your first game? Do you remember?
My first time playing hockey, I want to say I was 3 years old. I was kind of influenced from former Pats captain Gary Peters, who's my great uncle, and my other uncle, Ryan Monet, used to play for the Saskatoon Blades. I used to watch him tons growing up. That's when Brayden Barnett played there too, which is another cool thing, I guess, watching him play as a kid. And then just going to Blades games and just having that love for the game just kind of grew on me.
So you were a Blades fan growing up?
I won't comment on that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
It's a love-hate relationship with the Blades.
When you were younger, pre-Pats era?
We'll go with I guess.
So what was the playoff series like for you personally then, like off ice per se, against Saskatoon last year?
Oh, obviously it was tough. It was really tough because actually my neighbor and my best friend growing up too lives like a door down. He's the assistant GM, Steve Hildebrand, for the Blades. So I just had to listen to that all summer, which wasn't very fun, but I was just happy we got to make it to the playoffs that year, and obviously play with Connor is just something that I'll talk about forever, obviously.
Just playing in that atmosphere at Sastel Center, like obviously you hadn't played in a crowd like before like that, but what was that just like?
That was the most surreal moment ever for me, just seeing that place filled, because I just remember growing up, the place it'd always be just empty. The only time I've ever really seen that place filled up when I was growing up would be Memorial Cup when they played Halifax. That's a big memory for me when they beat the Mooseheads. I just remember all the clappers and everything getting thrown onto the ice. They had to call the game with 2 seconds left. That's the only other time I've seen that place filled up, and then seeing that place filled up for an entire series was pretty surreal for me.
So rewinding it again, were your parents influential on you starting in hockey? Were they a big influence, or were they okay with you playing hockey, baseball, or whatever you chose?
I'd say they definitely pushed me into hockey, and they saw that I was maybe a better hockey player than I was at other sports. I think they definitely pushed me into it, and just my dad played hockey, but he was never he never made it high enough to I guess you could say he played midget, and that was probably it for him. And then he played senior, so watched his beer league games, and
And you did have some family involved.
Yeah,
you said
definitely.
That's cool.
Were you always a forward?
He was a forward, yes, I believe.
Were you always? Sorry.
Oh, was I always forward? I was always a forward. Yeah, I wanted to play goalie, but my parents never let me. So, and then a few years later, they let my brother try it out, but he never liked that. So,
Did you play goalie once, when it was everybody's kind of turn?
I played a few times. Yeah.
You liked it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
You didn't get. I remember I played one time, and it was the worst. It was the worst ever. I was like, never again.
I always liked the fact that you could customize your helmet. I thought that was pretty cool. That's why I wanted to be a goalie, but I ended up being a forward, and yeah.
So going back to that minor hockey, was there a standout moment or memory that you have in the minor hockey days?
I remember in novice, we had a tournament in Clavette, and it was the A final, and we were in a shootout, and I remember I scored the game-winning goal in that. And then another time, too, I remember in Pee Wee and Bantam, we made it to the finals here in Regina for the tournament. I forget what the Pee Wee one's called, but the Graham Tour, we made it to the final in that one. We lost both of those, though, but then my last year in Bantam, we ended up winning the provincial championship, and that was a pretty cool moment for me, because that was my last year playing minor hockey in Martinsville. So, and then just having a banner in that rank that'll be there forever is pretty cool to me.
Yeah, you played with a couple top-end players that year, Riley Height and Braden Yeager. What was that like?
That's another thing, just playing with those high-end guys like Brayden Yeager, he drafted to Pittsburgh, which is my favorite hockey team, so I think that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, Riley Heidt, another great player, and then Kalen Parker too, drafted to Minnesota, and then even Hunter Mayo, I know he went to Kings camp this year. Yeah, just good buddies of mine, and yeah, just pretty cool to play with those guys too.
So we've seen obviously a lot of Yeager, and you played with Bedard. We don't know much about Heidt. What kind of a player is he?
He reminds me a lot of like Tanner. He's kind of like the in-your-face, but he's not like too physical. But he's like kind of like that little Marchand, the little rat on the ice that just no one likes. He's a little chirpy, and yeah, he can score goals too.
Yeah.
So when it came to your draft year, were you expected to get drafted? Like, did you expect it yourself?
I expected it, yeah. I didn't expect to go that late, but I mean, I'm just happy it happened. So
that's good. So you were following the draft online, or?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I was in the Dairy Queen drive-through, and my mom just gasped, and she was like, "Oh, you're going to Regina?" And I was like, "Yeah, here we go."
Were you happy with that?
I was pretty happy with that, knowing my great uncle played here. It's close to home, so yeah.
Yeah, and you'd already been down here.
Yeah.
Playing Pat C's. What was that decision like?
I hadn't actually come down.
Oh, you
here
hadn't come yet? Okay.
It was the camp. That's when Darren McKechnie. I remember I got killed by someone. I don't even remember who. And then I went down and I hit one of the vets, and he came after me for the rest of the game. And that's when Darren McKechnie, the C's old coach, he came up to me after that. He's like, "So would you like to play on the Pat C's? Because I can see you got the fire to play for us." So that's what brought me down here.
Okay. Was there any thought of playing in Saskatoon, or?
I had the Blazers wanted me, but I kind of, just wanted to be closer to here and just kind of see what it'd be like to move away from home, and that's why I chose here.
And you billeted with your grandma?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
I lived with my grandma for 5 years now.
Nice. That's cool.
So that's a nice, easy transition to the city, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty easy, I'd say. You kind of almost, it's like you grew up down here too, because you're coming to visit them too, and you got other family here, so.
So was your goal to play in the Western Hockey League once you realized you were good enough to play?
I've always wanted to play in yeah, absolutely. Always wanted to play in the Western Hockey League. It's been a goal of mine for as long as I can remember. Yeah, just playing here and like close to home, it's unreal.
Saying that the Pittsburgh is your favorite team. Who's your favorite player, or who was your favorite player growing up?
Sidney Crosby.
He was your favorite player?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so who do you pattern your game after? It's not Crosby. He's not that aggressive.
I like to think I play kind of like a Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, kind of like in your face, like physical, wants to score, wants to get like points and stuff, wants to fight too, like just all around player.
Once you made the WHL debut, what did that feel like to you? What was that like?
That was a pretty awesome feeling. I remember John called my parents. It was pretty late at night. I was already sleeping, and then they came into my room and they woke me up, and they're like, "Yeah, you're going to play it tomorrow." I was kind of just like, is this really happening? You get the butterflies and you get all that. And then once you step on the ice, it kind of just all goes away and you just play the game.
So many of the players we've talked to have said chicken and rice is their favorite pregame go-to meal. Is that yours?
Yeah, it is now. I used to be a big spaghetti and meatballs guy, but I felt like I wasn't fast enough, so I switched to chicken and rice, and I scored a goal next game, so I just haven't changed since.
Do you have any pregame superstitions?
I have a few, yeah. I always, my grandma cuts up a cucumber for me. I eat that in the car on the way to the rink. I always put on my Top Gear right to left, and then what else? I'll do a little, I'll always jump into the boards during warm-ups. That's something. And then with a minute left, I'll go sit on the blue line, just kind of visualize the game, and then I'll just take a slap shot at the net and then get off.
Braxton said he didn't have any, but then he listed off like 5 things like that. He's like, I'm not that superstitious. So this seems like some guys are, some guys aren't on the team. Like there's a good variety, isn't there?
I feel like everyone is in their own way. They just don't even realize it.
It's just a habit.
Yeah,
a routine,
exactly.
just a habit kind of thing. What about the intermission? Do you do anything special in the intermission, or just kind of sit back and relax, listen to the coach, or whatever?
I'm a sit back and relax kind of guy, yeah.
Recoup that energy that you spent today.
Yeah, exactly. Got to make it back for the next period.
How do you tape your stick? Heel to toe, toe to heel?
I go heel to toe. I only use 5 strips too. I start in the middle and then I'll end like just before the blade kind of curves into the toe. Yeah.
Always black or white tape?
Always black.
Always black?
Yeah.
The white's for the scorers, right?
Yeah.
Which jerseys do you prefer? The traditional, like the blue and white, or the alternate red and whites?
Oh, that's a tough one because I really
You can mix and match if you want.
Oh, I like the traditional blue ones, but I also really like the red ones. The red ones are probably my favorite jerseys.
Good answer.
Yeah. 38. Any reason for that?
I just showed up to training camp one day and had 38 on my helmet. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just stick with this. Never changed it. Yeah, it's what I'll ride with for the rest of the season. And yeah, moving forward.
Any what numbers did you wear growing up? Or was there a choice there?
I wore 23 because my uncle wore 23. And then minor hockey is just kind of, you have like a certain amount of numbers, so you just kind of pick from that. But yeah.
What's your favorite bus activity? Are you a card guy at like the back of the bus, or?
I like playing cards, yeah. Yep, cards, movies, just listening to music. Especially when we went to the States this year, just looking out the window because it's so different. Like being from Sask, you just see flat land the whole time, and then like you actually see like mountains and lakes and all that. So depends where we are, I guess you could say.
Did you do any minor hockey tournaments like out west or anything when you were younger?
We usually went to Edmonton for a tournament, and then with Pat C's, we went to Okanagan, won that one. But other than that, I don't think we really went anywhere else outside of Saskatchewan.
What's your favorite TV show or movie?
TV show
or do you
movie?
have like a series that you binge watch all the time?
Oh yeah,
or?
I have a few series actually. I like Modern Family and The Office. Those are probably my top 2 right there. And then movies, I'm kind of like an old-fashioned kind of guy, like Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2 and gosh, what's another one? Like, can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely older movies for me.
What about music? What are your tastes? Are you a country guy or are you a rock guy?
Big rock guy. Def Leppard, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. Yeah, those kind of bands.
Good old pump-up songs.
Oh
eh?
yeah, good old ones.
Summertime, what's kind of your off-ice hobby?
Oh boy. I guess you could say just I play in a touch football league at home. That's kind of a hobby, and then just playing slow pitch. Yeah, just hanging out at home really. 'Cause we're working out in summer too. You're training for hockey, so you don't really have that much free time. I don't really make it out to the beach much, but yeah, I guess you could say just playing more sports.
Man. We heard that you helped Dante's team coach.
Yeah, Dante's baseball team helped that out a few times. Yeah.
How was that?
How was that? Yeah.
It was interesting. It was a little. Dante's he's a character. So.
What kind of coach is he?
I'll say he's a good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You run a tight ship?
Oh yeah, tight ship. Yeah.
So, once hockey is done for you, whenever that is, what do you think you see yourself doing? Like, do you see yourself going into coaching, or do you see yourself playing senior hockey? Do you see yourself what do you see yourself doing after hockey? I know I know you're only 19.
I know it's a tough question.
Not even anything hockey related.
Not even hockey related. You think you go into teaching or who knows, right? Like,
I've always thought about going to school. Electrical engineering has always interested me, and even like being a teacher and stuff like that's interested me. But yeah, playing senior hockey on the side too. That's definitely something I'd want to do too. But yeah, definitely one of those 3.
Especially watching the senior hockey lately, it's just been crazy.
It's been crazy, yeah.
Yeah, we went to Lumsden. I've been going to a couple games in Lumsden, watching them, and yeah, it's like, what was it, 1,500?
About 1,500 people in the Lumsden rink
heard,
there.
Yeah,
50-50 was $9,000.
It's insane.
It was kind of crazy. So yeah, it's kind of picking up here lately. I think once past COVID here, and teams are starting to come back. There's a few teams that dropped off, and there's a little bit of money out there for some guys, right?
Definitely.
So, you got anything else?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we learned a little bit. Just got a few answers, got a few chuckles.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys.
All right, that's another great interview there with Brayden. Maybe a guy that doesn't get as much love, but he sat down with us and he seemed pretty comfortable. It went pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, he got a few chuckles in there. Which was nice. And his dad Rob had we'd met before. We talked a few times, so he was familiar with me by name or whatever, I guess, or he was familiar with me. Didn't know me, but he was familiar with me, and it wasn't a bad interview at all.
No,
props to him. It was nice. Like he never met me. I think you talked to him a couple times, but he said, "I don't remember you" or whatever.
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to him much, but obviously, talked to the guys who were scoring goals really, and he's not one of those guys, but it is what it is, and we're still going to give him some love because
for sure,
he's a guy that's been here a couple of years now, a local-ish guy, right? Saskatoon, so
got his 100th game in and stuff. So
so. Like we said, we're starting with the older guys, right? They're able to talk a little better, loosen up a little easier, right? So
yeah, we went with the ones that we were told that would be.
We figured would be better interviews.
That would be better.
Like we're not going to jump into
start
a rookie.
With
right.
We don't want to make it uncomfortable for like a 16 or 17-year-old. That's just.
And obviously, older guys
not ready for it.
Yeah, and with the older guys, there's more stuff to talk about, right? So
they're
it's
a little
easier
older
for us too, right?
And a couple guys like were Rowans from the States and Braxton's from the States. Like you got
other topics to talk about.
A little bit
right?
extra stuff to talk about, not just some 16-year-old or 17-year-old that's just basically played minor hockey then came here.
Yeah.
So that's for next year. Once we get going again next year, we're gonna profile everybody as best as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Get into the coaches. It's gonna be interesting. We got some good ideas, I think. We hope. And we'll go from there.
All right. Any more rants for tonight?
I don't. What else can I rant about?
I'm sure there's something, but
what else can I rant about? I think that's enough. A little still a little emotional from Saturday night's stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
I've been a Pats fan my whole life. I'm 45. I've been going to the games for 44 years, and I honest to God, took that game personally.
Yeah, I
so like I don't know.
If I was watching it, I would have. Yeah.
It actually really bothered me, especially once they kept on playing those guys. Like I'm done talking about it, but it bothered me. It still bothers me right now. I'm sure by the time next season starts, whatever, it'll be done until the Pats play the Warriors next year.
Yeah, we won't forget about it though. That's for sure.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
well,
that's
with that,
very true.
We should get out of here. I don't think there's anything else we need to cover. So that was a lot for tonight. For an 0-3 weekend to wrap up the season, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, everything happened.
Yeah, right.
Everything happened.
Yeah. So, but anyways, with that, there'll be episode coming out. We'll be doing our usual season wrap up roundtable. That'll be coming out here, probably in the next week or so as well. So take a look for that one. And then we did the season media wrap up. We threw that one together. Put all the comments of the season stuff, and then we've got the interviews on the Moose Jaw comments as well in here. I'll put those in there. I didn't really throw to it, but it'll be in there. And but yeah, so we should get out of here. And so,
and there's another player interview coming up too.
Yes, and there'll be another player interview coming up that isn't going to be in a regular show because it was longer. So it's going to have
they're going to have their own show.
Standalone show. They are. So you can take your that's your little teaser there. If you can put 2 and 2 together, guys that do things together all the time.
Yes,
so
2 and 2 together.
Exactly. So with that, I won't see you at the rink, but have a good summer, and we'll be talking to you soon. Have a good night.
Take her easy. Go Wheat Kings.